it's been we have at least under my belt the first major release of the year, which I've completely played, and that is Resident Evil Requiem. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to spoil the shit out of the game, as promised in my previous video.
Yeah.
So I will say right now, and I'll put a timestamp on the video, and I'll put a timestamp in the description. So if you don't want to know spoilers about Resident Evil, I will say up front, it is a very great game. And probably, in my opinion, the best the franchise has been in a decade. So
nice.
That's the best thing I can say without spoiling anything really about it. Is that you should, if you like Resident Evil, and especially if you didn't really care for the direction that 7 and 8 took it, you'll probably like this one. The game took me about 9 hours, which is ironic considering it's Resident Evil 9.
No.
I couldn't put it down. Like, from the moment I started it, and then like I had a lot of things going on this weekend, but it was kind of like anytime I had a moment where something wasn't going on, I was playing Resident Evil. And
yeah,
it does a really good job of balancing between the two, because it is just the two characters you see in the trailer. So it's just the new character, Grace Ashcroft, and it is Leon. It's not a complete 50-50 split, and it is split up in specific sections of the game. So like you'll play.
How much would you say compared to like how much do you play of Grace versus Leon?
I'd say it's like 60 Grace and 40 Leon is what I would say.
That's not bad. That's really not. Like when you're introducing like her as a character now to him, that's a good mix.
I feel like you play more as her. It does have a significant shift at a certain point in that game. So you play a good chunk as him, and then very much towards the very end of the game, you shift your focus back to her for a chunk, and then the very end you play as him. So,
gotcha. Okay, that's not bad.
As far as the story goes, so like it starts with you playing. It starts just like the trailer, whereas you're playing as Grace Ashcroft. You are the daughter of that character from the Resident Evil Outbreak series. They tie it into that in a pretty good way. She works for the FBI. She is asked to go back to the hotel where her mom was killed. And she didn't have all the answers at the time of why her mom was killed. Her mom was caught up in like a government conspiracy. And so she never got all the answers as to why this happened. When her mom was killed, there was a big fire at this hotel. So this hotel is like completely trashed when you're at it. It's like, It's the perfect environment to start a Resident Evil game is what I would tell you. And it's very much like, it reminds me, the way this game is set up, it kind of reminds me of Resident Evil 6, and like Resident Evil 6 really tried to give you like, okay, Leon's campaign is the horror one, Chris's campaign is the action one, and so on. It's very much like that. Like everything you do as Grace is very much grounded in horror. Traditional Resident Evil. Leon is very action heavy. It's not like, obviously there's a million TikToks out there of Leon doing roundhouse kicks and smashing people's faces.
Yeah, I saw a clip of him parrying a rocket with his little hand axe. I was like,
his hand axe is amazing. It's not as crazy as those TikToks make it sound. It is action heavy. There is one really ridiculous sequence, which I'll talk about in a minute, that reminds me of like the best of the stupid moments of this franchise. I mean, this is a franchise where you literally battled inside of a volcano and punched a boulder at one point. So like they don't have a problem with ever taking things too stupid. The way they explain stuff. So like there are a lot of crazy things in this game and where they're going with it. I appreciate how far it has its head up its own ass with that stuff. So like, for example, as Grace, you have the ability with this syringe thing to pick up blood from enemies after you kill them.
Okay.
And you can use that blood to craft ammo. Exactly. Your face was exactly when I first saw it. I'm like,
okay,
how the fuck does that work? And
that doesn't make sense, but
they have their bullshit. They have their bullshit explanations for how that exists and how that works in this universe. Okay, it's really fucking dumb. And it involves some real bullshit science, but it's a thing. And that leads into one other real bullshit part of it that I'll get to in a minute, but involving everything that's going on. So the major beats of this game are obviously she's kind of on her mission to find out what happened to her mom, doing this thing for the FBI because that's where she works. Leon is in the game because what's revealed, and it's revealed early on in the game, he is suffering from, I don't remember the technical term they call it, but it's like Raccoon City survivors virus or something. It's basically what it is anybody that was in Raccoon City that was exposed to the T virus at that time.
Right.
Now 30 years, almost 30 years later, is suffering from effects of that, where like they have parts of their skin that are discolored, like they're rapidly going to die if they don't find a cure for this.
So essentially like radiation type thing.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so his whole point is he's trying to find what's going on with that and like find a cure. His handler on the phone with you or on the intercom with you is Sherry Birkin from Resident Evil 2, because of course she has the same issue. She was there.
Right.
That is really the only other character that is in this game. There is mentions because obviously it's shown in the trailer. You go back to Raccoon City at one point. So you pick up different Easter eggs of different characters. You go back to the police station. It's one of the best parts of the game. They even play the original music. That part of the game is very much like the part of Metal Gear Solid 4 where you return to Shadow Moses. Like that's how it's played. It's really good. It's really well done. So the first half of this game is you do cross paths with Leon. You do switch places with him. He ends up going to the same facility that you go to, and he's being chased by the same person that is chasing Grace. And they get split up in this facility. So then a very big chunk of the game you're playing is Grace. It then shifts perspective to him. And they kind of do this flip-flop throughout the game. But it's mostly balanced. Like you're going to play a long section as her, and then something's going to happen. You're going to play as him. And then like obviously story beats, things get a little more wild. You start to unravel like what's going on here. You do this. So the sillier aspects of this game, and this is where it gets, if you think collecting the blood and creating bullets is bullshit. So,
I mean, it sounds amazing, to be honest with you.
And I'm skipping ahead a little bit here, but you get to a point where when you get through the first part of this game and you're kind of done at this facility and you're getting ready to leave, there is something that happens that basically that Grace chick is like, I'm done. I'm going to be out and done with this. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. When that happens, this fucking door opens.
Okay.
And in walks, what I can only tell you is it's Wesker. Like it's straight up a dude that looks like Wesker smoking a cigarette. It says his name is Zeno. So he refers to himself as Zeno. What is explained in this game later on through Spencer, which is the original guy that made the T-Virus, did all these things, is that they found a way to transfer through blood from what they consider an exceptional host to the T-Virus memories to another exceptional host. So essentially this Xeno guy is the easiest way I can explain it is it's a clone of Wesker. But it's not a perfect clone. That's why you see him, like he's smoking, and like that's not something Wesker would have really ever done.
Right.
This guy's like a chain smoker. It's bullshit. Like I said, I appreciate how far up this game's own ass it goes, where I'm just like transferring memories through blood. Like, what are we doing? But
a lot of this deals with blood, it sounds like. So that kind of a lot of blood
in this game. This game is very gory, like more than I expected. One of the cool things is like when you so the blood, you can craft guns and stuff. You can also craft things that you can put in syringes. One of the things that you put in a syringe, if you go up behind an infected and you stab them with it, they will literally fucking explode. And it is gory. It literally, like when you plug it into them, their entire head just like pops like a melon. You see it inflate and just their whole body, boom.
That's fantastic.
It's like that scene. It's like that scene from The Monkey when that body hits the wall. Like it's literally that. It's just boom.
Gosh. Now I want to play it just for that.
It's very well done. there's stuff like that that's really cool in the game. Also, I'll say, so like, and we'll get to it in the news, but like PSSR 2.0 is out. They're slowly rolling it out for the PS5 Pro. This is the first game that takes advantage of it. This is the first time I can confidently tell you, in the years that we've done this podcast now, this game is worth playing on a PlayStation 5 Pro. It looks utterly incredible. Like it is ridiculous how good this game looks. I played it. So on a Pro, you can either play it at 60 frames with ray tracing or 120 frames, which is probably variable without ray tracing. I've never been a believer in ray tracing. This game made me a believer in ray tracing. Like it looks ridiculous, the lighting. So the game shifts focus then to Leon. He has to go back to Raccoon City. The first half of this game takes place in a town called Renwood, which has never been in a Resident Evil before, as far as I know. The second half
didn't sound like it.
Is, I got to go back to Raccoon City. So you have that part of the game. That's where you get some of the sillier stuff. I don't know if you've seen the TikToks of him fighting the giant spider. Fuck that thing, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That thing sucks. That's the one part of the game I really didn't like. So they do these really cool things in that sequence of the game, because basically it's not an open world game. It's very much a guided experience, but you're running around like apocalyptic Raccoon City that a nuke went off in, right? There is a really cool sequence where you're scaling a skyscraper that is sideways, and you get to a point where a bunch of infected are going to attack you, and you can shoot the glass out underneath them and they can fall through, but you can also fall through if you're not careful, because they'll crack the glass. Yeah. It's really cool. Okay. Like it's a really cool thing that like I would have never thought to see in a Resident Evil game. And then 5 minutes later, you have the most ridiculous part of the game, which is a motorcycle chase sequence with Leon driving up and down broken skyscrapers, making ridiculous jumps, making some crazy shots that wouldn't even be humanly possible with his gun. Like it goes like, and it's as over the top as I would expect, considering where this franchise has gone before. That's probably, I will say, this game is a lot more grounded than other Resident Evils. That's probably the most over the top part outside of the giant spider, which I hate that thing. The game ends with, so the whole thing is they're searching the guy that you're working with, the guy that you're going against outside of Xeno is a guy named Victor Gideon. He is one of the original scientists that worked on the T-virus with Spencer. He's kind of this weird, like, he's a big hulking character. He's the guy you see in the trailers that has that like weird goggles on. That's that character. Okay. And he keeps talking about his master. And like I said, immediately when he started saying that, I'm like, it's got to be Wesker, right? Like at this point, it's been long enough. You can find a bullshit way to bring that guy back, which they did. The end of this, and the whole point is they're looking for this thing called Elpis, which they believe is going to be like the ultra version of the T-virus. And the only person that has the password is Grace, because it's revealed that during the entire part that you're in that facility, you find a room with this little girl that's locked in it. Okay. And so you have to release her. And the whole time you're trying to figure out like who this little girl is, what it is. And she's a carrier for the T-virus. So you find out later that in like, I think it's 1990, they were doing experiments on little girls. There's a really, I will say like, there's not one moment of the game where I was like, oh, that's scary. But there are a couple of moments in this game that are really creepy. There is one sequence early in the game where there is a female infected that kind of sings. If you get too close to her, she, sings loudly, kind of like the witch from Left 4 Dead. Okay. It's creepy. It has a real creepy vibe to it. I dug it because it was the first time in a Resident Evil game in a while where I was like, that's kind of actually creepy. Like, usually it's just so over the top bombastic. And then there's this sequence where when you remember, because what happens is you find out the thing that your mom was hiding at the beginning of the game is related to you. You are the one person from this lab that was able to grow up. Oh, you are the person they were cloning all these other little girls, including the one that you were trying to save. So they do a flashback sequence where you play as you younger because Xeno or Wesker is telling you what happened on this night. So you play through that sequence. It's very creepy.
Okay.
Because you have to deal with all these other clones of yourself that are bald and have red eyes, and they're all children, and the children are just killing people. And it's fucked up.
Sounds like a Dead Space
They
moment.
literally just, like, the first thing is, like, there's literally, like, you walk into this room and one of the doctors or scientists or whatever is, like, being bombarded by these little girls, and they just fucking snap this dude's neck and then turn around with their red glowing eyes. I'm like, okay, this is kind of creepy.
Nope. I need to leave this room now.
So that's one of the big reveals in the game, is, like, that's how this character ties into the larger aspect. You can learn, like, your mother really wasn't your mother, but she was trying to save you from all this. You do have the password to unlock this Elpis thing. This game actually gives you a choice at the end. You can either choose to open the container that has this Elpis thing and free it, or destroy it. Destroying it is the bad ending. The game ends. So you want to free it, because Elpis isn't a ultra version of the T-virus. It's actually the cure. So what happens is, when it's released, your buddy, the kids on the internet refer to him as Timu Wesker, which I think is funny. He takes it, ejects himself, and it basically removes all his I should mention that. I didn't mention that too. He has all the Jesus Wesker powers.
Oh,
so
okay.
like when Leon meets him, he's doing all the dodges and stuff when he's trying to shoot him. So it's like, this dude's clearly Wesker or a clone of him.
Or a clone.
They never definitively say that. It's just left for your interpretation. But that has to be where it is, right? He injects himself with that, thinking it's the mega ultra version of the T-virus or whatever, and it removes all his powers. So then that Victor Gideon guy gets pissed off and ends up killing him. And that is your final boss of the game, is that guy transforms into a mess of a T-virus monster. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's big. And Leon kills him and takes him out. After that happens, the game ends with Chris Redfield's team coming to save you out of there. But Chris Redfield is never shown. They just mention him. But they clearly are setting up the next Resident Evil you're going to be playing as Chris Redfield. Like, that's 100% where the direction is.
Okay.
Trying to think if there's any other big, like, overall, I loved every minute of the game, like, through and through. They have a couple silly moments here and there for sure, but like, it made me like I'll say this: I'm not a Leon fan. I've never been a Leon fan. I've always thought he's the character they've overused in this franchise.
Yeah,
this is easily his best game.
Well,
he has this real old man, gritty attitude through the entire game that really works. That axe is fucking amazing. You can literally just sharpen that thing on the fly. That's a mechanic. Like, he'll literally pull out the little thing and like, and then just keep hacking away. His intro sequence, which I put in my review video because it's so good, is amazing. It's one of the best intros I've seen in a character in a long time. It's basically, when you get to the point where you're playing as him, he's looking for that Grace Ashcroft character. He rolls up, and that guy, that Victor Gideon guy, is walking out of this building with him, with like that girl thrown over his back, and they kind of lock eyes, and he's like, well, fuck, there she is, or whatever. And he gets out of his car. That dude just starts shooting people with this like pistol thing that has the virus, and it just starts turning people into zombies and creating this fucking insane chaos that you have to run through. And
that's wild.
It's fucking crazy.
Okay.
You literally, and that's where you first start using that axe. The other thing that's really cool in the game, it's never said that this is who this character is, but it's very obvious. The character of Hunk makes an appearance. You fight and kill him as Leon.
Oh.
Because he makes an appearance. He clearly has the mask on and everything. And it's like, I've wanted to meet you for a while, Mr. Kennedy, or whatever his dumb line is. And they start fighting. And it's an axe. You fight with the hatchets. And it's really good. And then you just fucking kill him. And I'm like, okay, I guess if that was Hunk, he's dead now.
He's dead now.
But I'll say, if that was Hunk, it's a good end for that character.
Okay.
The other thing that's really good, this is the last thing I'll say about as far as spoiler stuff. When you are at the Raccoon City Police Department, there's a really good moment with that Xeno character when you first like have a meetup with him as Leon, where he makes the comment like, I don't have time to spare for you. And he like snaps his fingers or whatever. And the floor caves through. And it's just a new version of Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. And that's your boss fight. You have to fight Mr. X again.
Oh, great.
The T-virus guy. And it's great.
Nice.
It's great. Because it's literally that like fucking Danny Glover Lethal Weapon. Like, I'm too old for this shit. like I've seen you before. I don't want to deal with you again. Like
Yeah.
it's good. It's really well done. So overall, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Ironically,
Okay. Ooh.
I loved it. It is a masterclass of a game. Right now it's early in the year, but it's my front runner for game of the year right now.